Hello and welcome to this best of 3 series between BM Chosen and Space Pope on Imperial Road. It's going to be Norsca versus Bretonia this time. Be sure to like and subscribe for more games and let's get into it. So, 1-0 currently for Chosen. In the previous game it was Ogre Kingdoms versus Zinch. Come on, Volprick, do your little speech, come on. Where are you? Okay, now that he's done, we can actually analyze the armies. It seems to be like a mobility focused, just move forward type of army, which kind of makes sense. We just have Ice Wolves, and man, I really need to check. Like for the normal Warhounds and stuff, I can imagine why you would chevron them, especially 5 freaking times. Because they have just garbage leadership, right? Their leadership is unironically dog shit. But for the Ice Wolves, I don't know why would you like. Is the 55 such a high breakpoint for the leadership, or is it not? I am super wondering about that. I really need to ask the Russian community why they love it so much. For the Skin Wolves, Armored Skin Wolves, and goddamn, that is a stack of horsemen and the worm actually going from the side from the Vanguard point. Other than that, we have Marauder Bearman Great Weapons, which are great in this matchup because they are basically the little guys that can fight infinitely because they have 11.6k HP. One, they need a slight HP nerf. They have ITP, so they don't care about terror pieces. And they actually fight cav very well because of the armor piercing, right? That's the point of them. So they're like the perfect anti-cav piece. And what is Bretonia if not a literal cav faction? So from the side of Space Pope, we have Pegasus Knights, we have Alberic on his little thing, the little eagle thing, or is it the horse or the eagle? This is the horse thing, the lord that is more expensive. We have the Royal Hippogriffs, very interesting. So he planned to specifically fight something that is large. The Skirmish Corps, which is relatively normal to see. Damsel of Life, specifically with Earth, Blood, and Flesh to Stone, and just another Mounted Yeoman, and Foot Squires in the back. Basically to fight off stuff that is basically the Marauders and the Marauder Bearmen. So this is basically your pick-off squad, Skirmish squad. So he wants to fly in, pick off a unit, fly up, fly off, pick on a Skin Wolf, fly up, etc. Like that is the plan from Space Pope side. The plan from Chosen side is basically walk up, try to catch your opponent in one of the fights that he wants to pick you off on, and then outtrade everything that you have there. Basically, we're gonna see what the rest of the plan is based on the units, and very smartly he's going for the back objective to try and contest the Foot Squires with the Worm, because Worm got nothing nothing to do here, right? He's just gonna be chilling, but at some point he can just do damage to the Foot Squires because they can't fight back. Basically, this thing is absolutely insane. Hippogriffs actually taking quite a bit of damage from just one volley, getting 1k value from them with the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes and the Riders of the Mighty Serpent. And considering the game plan of Space Pope, he can play it two ways. So he can either hunker down on one objective and play a box until he feels like he has enough things so that he can move out to 2 objectives, or with some sort of mobility he can try and contest the back objective of his opponent and then play like a Benny Hill around him while he also builds up, right? Because he's not going to move this box away from the first objective until he feels like he can contest the Royal Hippogriffs, Alberic, the Pegasus, and the Skirmishers, right? So that is very smart of him to posture like he is going to go for the back objective, but not actually commit for it, and then scare Space Pope into going back and just wrong thing, and then just like playing basically this game. Every time he moves, he is basically posturing Space Pope, but Space Pope kind of got the idea of it and is moving his skirmish corps to try and contest the Marauder Horsemen, which is very nice because these guys have much more range. They have 125 versus the 70 of the Horsemen, and yeah, they're gonna be able to outskirmish everything here. The unfortunate thing, which I learned the hard way, pardon, is when you're downhill and you're firing uphill, it is infinitely easier to dodge things, and yeah, they're just not gonna connect whenever they're shooting. Like, this map is very, very bright, so we're not seeing like many of the shots here, but you can see that not many of the shots from the skirmish cav is connecting with the other cab. I learned this in a game where I had gutter runners basically fire uphill into like some skirmishers, and they would glass the skirmishers otherwise, but the uphill thing just basically screwed up their firing arc, and they ended up not doing basically any damage. So Chosen is very nicely playing this side with just wasting the ammo of Space Pope, right? He already wasted 8 shots. Why are these guys like 90% HP, right? They should not be 90% HP. And also just farming in the backside with the worm. These Knights of the Realm are nice, but they're not going to be able to kill the worm fast enough. And on the other side, we actually see a nice charge from the Knights of the Realm into the Norscan Ice Wolves. Though, very, very importantly, there isn't too much support here. I think Space Pope is going in way too early, especially with him, but he might feel the pressure from the worm basically being in his backline, but this is a mistake for sure. Like, you're fighting into the box of your opponent with just like 4 units, and you have 1.4k in the bank, while your opponent just summoned his sorcerer, cast Plague of Rust on your Hippogriffs, and you're fighting Space Wolves, Marauder Champions, great weapons, and Norscan Ice Wolves, which are gonna like frostbite you to death. And man, do they get clapped ever. So this was just a misjudgment from the side of Space Pope in going in, and how strong he actually was compared to what the actual strength is. Yeah, this is just he got clapped completely. He probably felt too much of the pressure from the side of the worm just eating at his foot squires, and he felt like he needed to do something. But honestly, like, you're winning on objectives, you have the skirmish game, you probably have just a bunch of foot squires, and you just summoned out your green knight now when you actually went in and shattered your flying force here. Oh no, that is so unfortunate. I don't think with losing both the Pegasus and the Royal Pegasus, and just Alberic being this low, even though he can heal, that there is anything that can now stop Berserk, especially with the Marauder Champions being out, right? Where's the Marauder Champions? There they are. They just got 500 value clapping 2 knights, 2 of the Hippogriffs. Oh my god. Yeah, he can just move forward now. It is so weird that the Marauder Champions also don't get the 7 capture rate, like some of the stuff from the Hargonets. And yeah, Worm, still chilling. Got 700 value just bullying these foot squires and the Knights of the Realm. Look at this. This is so stupid. Like, they really need to nerf this thing into just being a infantry fighter, right? So they should just remove like 30 of his melee attack and then give it back to him by bonus versus infantry, honestly. So because this thing should not be fighting off the things that are supposed to kill it. I even had like a mutant rat ogre in one of my games go in and try to fight one-on-one with the worm, and the worm just beat the mutant rat ogre, which is a supposedly like perfect fighter against it. Very nice try from Space Pope's side to try and snipe Wulfric. He knows that the only way that he could potentially win is killing the Norscan Lord, because Norsca just has such low leadership. But if we look at the backline here and ignore this snipe attempt here, you can just see a tide of green with infinite HP, right? Going in and just moving forward. Very nice Wrath of Manon. I'm gonna go down the pipe here. And potentially, it's just Marauders though, and the Skin Wolves completely dodge it. It doesn't even tickle these Norscan Ice Wolves. But it kind of does clear the... man, he just trampled these 2 Marauders to go into Wulfric. Oh, Wulfric's actually on foot. I did not realize that. Very nice Hunter of Champions just to try and save Wulfric. He's probably going to turn him around and just start running. But yeah, if you probably look at the rest of the battlefield here, everything is just getting dead. It's just becoming very dead on the side of Space Pope. Foot Squires get clapped by the Bearmen. These Knights of the Realm are getting killed. Knights of the Realm downhill charge, very nice, but I don't think it's enough, especially with so many Skin Wolves being here in play. But on another note, This aura is absolutely insane. They should nerf this. They should nerf this to at least 35 yards, if anything else, or just give it to just the infantry or something. Like that aura basically is carrying the entirety of the Bretonnian faction currently. A very nice charge again downhill for from the Mount of the Yeoman. But you saw, even though that they got charged, they basically took no damage. Why? They probably took more damage from falling than they actually did from the charge, because of the pitiful weapon strength from the Yeoman, basically. Premier of Fire and Caster of Metal. This is a very nice tech, because he basically came prepared for both playstyles from the Bretonia side. That's pretty cool to see. I also sometimes do like to go both things. I do, however, besides Plague of Rust, like to go for Searing Doom too, because if there is like an overwhelming force of just cavalry units, just getting one Searing Doom on like a blob of horsemen or something, like right here. If you were to cast a Searing Doom right here on these Pegasus Knights, they would get 60% by that one undercasted Searing Doom. And especially with like a Plague of Rust or something. So yeah, very, very cool to see double caster, because Burning Head takes care of the entire infantry corps from the Bretonia side, like when they have just a mass load of peasants, and the Searing Doom and Plague of Rust would take care of all of the cavalry engagements. It is kind of expensive, but in Norsca you kind of don't care, because you have so many cost-effective things inside of your roster that it is totally fine to have two casters, especially because they're so cheap, right? Like the caster is like, what, 500 or something on foot, and you're totally fine in taking it. Man, dude, these bearmen have the best day of their lives, right? Just clapping some hippogriffs that are Plague of Rusted. Man, best day ever. Like, take your dad to work day, or and the dad is just a huge bearman that came out of the forest trying to clap some Bretonnian cheeks. And yeah, Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, just there to cast Plague of Rust. And this guy there to cast Burning Head. I don't even know. He probably just summoned him because he has magic damage and he can fight the whatever the name of the Green Knight is, Juice or Juice, Baguette, basically. Very nice Marauder Champion summon. Kurgan Horsemen, still not sold on them, but I can see why they're used in this matchup. Again, man, this is so crazy to see. 5th rank Ice Wolves in reinforcements. I can see it in like main army, but in reinforcements too? Crazy. And double Skin Wolf basically the staple of this entire matchup. I don't get why let's say Space Pope, let's ignore the dive, right? Besides the dive, I don't get why Space Pope would not take the RORs that basically have magic damage. I don't know what their name is, but that basically have magic damage as well as bonus versus large. Those knights are like super good into everything here, because they bypass the physical resistance of the Skin Wolves, right? They get also bonus versus large. They're super good fighters. And yeah, Mounted Yeoman, pretty good, but he went just for an all cav, just 1 foot squire, man. 1 foot squire, all cav army. Very, very giga chad, but in the end, it was not enough to beat Chosen. So 2-0 to Chosen. Very nicely played to both players, and I'll see you in the next series.